Growing up in a small town in Louisiana did not stop Brandale Randolph from growing big dreams. His past experiences fueled his passions. After a move to Texas with his wife, Brandale got into the nonprofit sector with a focus on poverty alleviation.
The 1854 Cycling Company was started almost by accident. It was the part where I made the transition to Framingham, and me being both a history buff and a sort of a activist, I kind of wanted to have a company that first and foremost did something for someone. So I took that same algorithm that I discovered, and I discovered that based on the data, it's formerly incarcerated women who are the most disproportionately present amongst the people who are poor here in Framingham. They have an average income of an average household income of less than $11,500 per year, and 80% of them are mothers. So to do something for them is also possibly helping change the lives of the children as well. My real measure of success won't be millions and millions of dollars and all these great jobs. It'll be when one of my employees comes to me and says, my child is going to be going off to college and I can afford to actually pay for him to go to college, or I can support this without having to go out and take extra because this great job had me do this. But to know that there's going to be lives affected long term because this woman or man now has a stable source of income and a foundation for setting a family and supporting a family, that's my real measure of success, and that's why I do it. Over the course of the long term, if we are successful, the number of children going to college, the number of people going back to college to get their diplomas or GEDs will increase, and that for me is my success. The company is more like a brand. So when we talk about what we do and how we do and how it's about how people can support us, our brand and our mission. And so the bikes are beautiful. You can go online at 1854cycling.com, but there are people who are not really in the market to ride a bicycle, which is why we have the apparel, which is why we're coming with something else, in the very near future. I can't talk about right now, but there's a lot of ways that people can support us. And I believe that our ideal customer and the people we've been selling to have spanned the country. They span the globe even. We've sold in other countries. On July 4th, 1854, there was one of the most influential anti-slavery rallies ever in history of America that happened here in Framingham. And it was after the Fugitive Slave Act. And Sojourner Truth, Henry David Thoreau, Wendell Pierce, and several other well-known abolitionists spoke here in Framingham, but the most noted of which was a guy named William Lloyd Garrison. And after his speech, Garrison burned the U.S. Constitution. And this was kind of like Colin Kaepernick kneeling of 1854. And it kind of divided the country, but it also galvanized the abolitionist movement. But that's what really put Framingham on the map, because at that time, we were known as sort of pre-Civil War as a place where free blacks could come and live in peace, because they couldn't do it in Boston anymore. They couldn't do it in some of the outskirts, but they could do it here in Framingham. And I want to say something about that hidden history that was to give us some sort of honor and pride being here in Framingham. The purpose of the bikes really is to bring people who are working for us to the manufacturing world with a certifiable skill. What's the neat thing about these bikes is that you will see something that's very technically sound, that's very it's beautiful, but it was put together by people who you thought had no skill whatsoever, who had no place in the workforce, who had no sort of identity. But now that we've moved from these single-speed electric bikes towards electric bikes, now we are sort of transitioning to a different type of advanced manufacturing skill that we hope translates to better paying jobs in the near future for them. Right now, the business model is based on alleviating poverty. And what we wanted to do was find out who's suffering the most here in the town of Framingham. And we found out that people with criminal backgrounds, and particularly women, are having the most trouble alleviating themselves out of poverty. But because women in particular are more likely to have children in the household under 18, we feel like the positive impact on not only their lives, on their kids, on their children, will be better if we can find them living wage employment. And so the importance of this is showing that there's a model that works. Right now, what we're doing is we're trying to find the right facility to give them the right type of support that they need. because with such a population, it's not just about the job. It's not just about the 40 hours a week and the benefits. It's also about the other supports that they would need that are very unique. Training and counseling. There's a lot of trauma that comes with a person who's been recently released from incarceration. A lot of the stuff goes untreated, but it affects their lives long term if it's not treated right away. So for us, having a facility that has the ability to give them the privacy as they seek counseling and whatever goes on is very important to us. Also making sure that those with children under 3 have access to daycare. You know, affordable daycare, or whether it be on-site or affordable daycare or we have to subsidize or whatever, that's also very important to us. And we believe that we can establish that type of facility here in Framingham, which is why we're being patient about where we go, because we don't want to get into a place that can't meet those needs of those employees, because ultimately that's why we're here. We're here not just to make beautiful bikes, but we're here also to make a difference. And I think that when we do set up our showroom, our branded showroom, we're going to have the ability for people to actually come and see what we do and how we do it, and they'll fall very much and loyal to our brand. Because if we start making other items other than bicycles and apparel, we want to make sure that we're still connecting with people who love us.